7. Unexploded bombs. Unexploded bombs from World War II have been discovered on various beaches around the world, posing a significant risk to public safety. These discoveries are a stark reminder of the lasting impact of global conflicts. In Hawaii, unexploded World War II-era bombs were found near popular beach areas on the east side of Oahu. The military used these areas for aerial bombing and training activities during World War II, leaving behind munitions that could detonate if disturbed. Despite the danger, the beaches remain open to the public, with warnings to avoid activities like digging or building sand castles. In Suffolk, England, the unexpected collapse of a cliff edge at Pakefield Holiday Park revealed a suspected unexploded bomb. The area was evacuated, highlighting the potential danger these historical remnants pose. In Fort Pierce, Florida, an unexploded World War II aerial bomb was detonated off a beach after being discovered by a construction crew. The area was cleared of swimmers and beachgoers, and no injuries were reported. These incidents underscore the importance of ongoing efforts to detect and remove unexploded ordnance. While these relics of war are a part of history, they also represent a very real threat to public safety. It's crucial that beachgoers remain vigilant and report any suspicious objects to the authorities. 6. Video game burial site. The Atari video game burial was one of the most notorious events in the history of the video game industry. It occurred in 1983, when Atari Inc., a leading company in the arcade and home console markets, faced a major financial crisis due to the oversaturation and decline of the video game market. Atari had produced millions of cartridges for its games, but many of them remained unsold or were returned by retailers. One of the most infamous examples was E.T. the Extraterrestrial, a game that was based on the popular movie and rushed to meet the holiday season deadline. The game was widely criticized for its poor quality and gameplay and became a commercial flop. Atari reportedly had millions of unsold E.T. cartridges, along with other popular titles such as Pac-Man and Raiders of the Lost Ark. In September 1983, Atari decided to dispose of these unwanted cartridges by dumping them in a landfill in Alamogordo, New Mexico. The company hired a contractor to transport and bury the cartridges in a secret location, hoping to avoid publicity and controversy. However, the media soon caught wind of the operation and reported on it extensively. The landfill was guarded by security personnel and covered with concrete to prevent scavengers from digging up the cartridges. The event was seen as a symbol of Atari's downfall and the end of the golden age of video games. For decades, the Atari video game burial was shrouded in mystery and speculation. Some people doubted that it ever happened or that it involved such a large number of cartridges. Others wondered what else was buried in the landfill, or if any of the cartridges were still playable. In 2014, a team of filmmakers, archaeologists, and enthusiasts obtained permission from the city of Alamogordo to excavate the landfill and search for the buried cartridges. The excavation was filmed for a documentary titled Atari: Game Over. The team managed to uncover over 1,300 cartridges of various games, including E.T., confirming the existence and location of the burial site. The recovered cartridges were cleaned and tested, and some of them were auctioned off to collectors and museums. The excavation also revealed other items that were buried with the cartridges, such as consoles, controllers, joysticks, keyboards, and promotional materials. 5. 4,300-foot-long tunnel. Archaeologists recently discovered a tomb dedicated to Osiris, one of ancient Egypt's most important gods, beneath the Egyptian temple Tap-Osiris Magna. He was the god of the dead, the underworld, and the afterlife. Kathleen Martinez, an archaeologist at the University of Santo Domenico, discovered the 6.5-foot-tall, 4,300-foot-long tunnel at the temple, which is located west of Alexandria. She also discovered 2 Ptolemaic-era alabaster statues, as well as various pottery jars and pots. The Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities announced the discovery last week, describing the tunnel as a geometric wonder. A portion of the tunnel is underwater, possibly as a result of multiple earthquakes that devastated the region between 320 and 1303 CE. Archaeologists believe the temple collapsed because of natural disasters. Archaeologists discovered a range of additional items at the site during previous digs, including coins with the names and pictures of Cleopatra VII and Alexander the Great. They've also discovered sculptures, Isis statues, a mummy with a gold tongue, and even a cemetery packed with Greco-Roman-style mummies. Cleopatra, who ruled Ptolemaic Egypt from 51 to 30 BCE, committed suicide in 30 BCE, as did her lifelong lover, Roman commander Mark Antony. Historians think they're buried together, although they're unsure of the location. Martinez has been convinced for years that the Taposiris Magna Temple is where Cleopatra is buried. She began digging as soon as the Egyptian government granted her permission. In the past 15 years, she has made multiple significant discoveries, the tunnel being the most recent. Yet Cleopatra's tunnel remains undiscovered. Martinez said she will not give up and feels like she's getting closer to finding the tomb. According to her, it is her duty to search for the last queen of Egypt, even if there's only a 1% chance of finding her. 4. E.T. replica. In 2011, a unique item was stolen from the home of Margaret Wells in Hampshire, England. It was a life-size replica of E.T., the beloved character from Steven Spielberg's classic film. This wasn't just any replica, it was handcrafted by Wells' daughter as part of a stage makeup course. A few months later, an unsuspecting beachgoer in Portsmouth, England, spotted what they initially thought was a body floating in the surf. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be the stolen E.T. replica. The discovery of the replica sparked a Coast Guard search for a body washed up with the tide, which turned out to be the model alien. The police were called to the scene, and after realizing it was not a human but an alien model, they ensured the extraterrestrial came home. Margaret Wells was delighted to be reunited with her beloved E.T., despite it looking a bit roughed up and missing a finger. She was quoted saying, "There's only one in the whole of England, and that is mine." The police rang and said somebody has found a body in the soil, and it belongs to you. It's E.T. I always knew E.T. would come home. This particular incident underscores the unpredictability of life and the surprises it often throws our way. It also emphasizes the sentimental value that certain objects, even those as unusual as a life-size E.T. replica, can hold for their owners. Margaret Wells' joy upon being reunited with her beloved E.T. is a testament to this. The tale of the life-size E.T. replica that ended up on a beach in Portsmouth continues to captivate and entertain, serving as a reminder of the extraordinary in the midst of the ordinary. Would you keep the E.T. replica if you found it? Tell us in the comments and hit subscribe while you're at it. 3. 1.8 billion trees. A recent study using AI and detailed satellite imagery has detected over 1.8 billion trees and shrubs in the West African Sahara Desert. They were located in the Sahel, the largest sub-humid section of the Sahara Desert, covering 501,933 square miles, or 1.3 million square kilometers. A college professor who led the study said that it was a very surprising discovery because, naturally, the majority of people had assumed trees didn't exist in the desert. He thanks the advancement of today's newest technology, which helped them count hundreds of millions of trees. Such a find is truly the birth of a new era in science. It's essential to gain greater knowledge about trees in dryland areas for a number of reasons. One being that they're an unknown component of the global carbon budget. It's rare to find trees that are not in the average wooded areas, and little study has been done on the ones that have been located elsewhere. As a result, the information scientists have on their carbon stock is slim. These areas are typically large and unknown blank spots on the map, and they've not been identified in the global carbon cycle. The new study also advances knowledge of the significance of trees for ecosystems, biodiversity, and the occupants of these regions. For creating programs that support agroforestry, which plays a significant environmental and economic role in dry regions, improved understanding of trees is particularly crucial. Using satellites to identify the tree species allows us to better understand how certain local populations depend on wood supplies for their livelihood. They will get an understanding of the significance and worth of the trees by figuring it out. The deep learning technique that enabled the counting of trees across such a broad region was created by researchers from the University of Copenhagen's Department of Computer Science. To teach the deep learning model what a tree looks like, the researchers sent it millions of photos of various trees. The algorithm could then automatically detect and map trees over vast areas and hundreds of photos based on the identification of tree forms. The model can do in a matter of hours what it would take thousands of people years to do. The count will then be extended to a far greater region of Africa by the researchers. Additionally, they have long-term plans to compile a global database of all trees that are found outside of forests. 2. World War II fighter planes. In the sands of time, remnants of World War II occasionally resurface, revealing fascinating stories of courage, resilience, and technological innovation. One such relic is a World War II-era American fighter plane, a Lockheed P-38 Lightning, discovered on a beach in Wales. This aircraft, forgotten for over 65 years, emerged due to shifting sands and erosion. The P-38 Lightning, with its distinctive twin-boom design, was one of the most successful fighter planes of the war, serving in both Europe and the Pacific. This particular plane ran out of gas and crash-landed on the beach during the war. For decades, beachgoers were often within a few yards of the aircraft, completely unaware of its existence just beneath the sand. The discovery of the plane stirred considerable interest among British aviation circles and officials of the country's aircraft museums. The International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, TIGHAR, plans to collaborate with British museum experts to recover the nearly intact but fragile aircraft. In another instance, a British couple discovered the wreckage of a crashed World War II fighter plane, believed to be a Bristol Beaufighter TFX aircraft, on a beach in northeastern England. The Royal Air Force RAF Museum confirmed that the aircraft crashed on April 21, 1944, soon after takeoff from nearby North Coats in Lincolnshire, after both engines failed. These discoveries underscore the enduring legacy of World War II and the bravery of the men and women who served. They also serve as a reminder of the technological advancements made during this period, many of which continue to influence modern aviation. 1. 1,570-foot pipe. In the summer of 2017, beachgoers in Norfolk, England were greeted by an unusual sight. A gigantic section of pipe measuring a staggering 1,570 feet, or 480 meters in length, had washed up on the beach between the towns of Sea Palling and Winterton-on-Sea. This was not a one-off event. Earlier that same week, a 656-foot or 200-meter section of pipe had made its appearance at low tide further west at Horsey. These pipes were not native to the English coast. They had broken free from the Norwegian tugs that were transporting them to Algeria. The tugs were involved in an accident with an Icelandic container ship, which resulted in the pipes being sent adrift. The pipes, destined for a power plant in Algeria, had embarked on their journey from Surnadal in northern Norway. The accident occurred on the night of July 18th to 19th, and 12 sections of pipe came loose from the tug. Pipelife, the Norwegian firm responsible for manufacturing the pipes, issued a warning to the public to keep their distance from the beached pipes. The risk of being crushed under the massive structures was real and present. The Maritime and Coast Guard Agency echoed these sentiments, adding that while the pipes posed no environmental risk, they did present a physical danger, especially if they were moving in the water. The insurers of the container ship took action and appointed a salvage master. This individual was tasked with coordinating an operation based in Lowestoft, Suffolk, to recover the pipes and tow them back to Norway. Despite the warnings from Pipelife and the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency, the beached pipes became somewhat of a local attraction. Curious beachgoers couldn't resist the sight of the enormous pipes, with some even daring to walk on top of the pipes and take selfies. This incident serves as a reminder of the unexpected things that can happen at sea and end up on our shores. It also underscores the importance of safety and caution when encountering such unusual objects.
Number 6. Flying aircraft carriers. The notion of flying aircraft carriers, once confined to the realms of science fiction, has emerged as a topic of real-world exploration by both military and civilian entities in recent times. The roots of flying aircraft carriers trace back to the early 20th century, with airships serving as platforms for launching biplanes in reconnaissance and bombing missions. Notably, the USS Akron exemplified this concept, capable of carrying up to 5 F-9C Sparrowhawk fighters. However, accidents in the 1930s led to the demise of airships as carriers, as faster and more powerful aircraft gained prominence. In the Cold War era, the U.S. Air Force delved into the area of parasite fighters, small jet aircraft that could attach to and detach from larger bombers or transport, providing escort protection or additional firepower. Despite these experiments, technical challenges and operational risks outweigh the benefits, leading to project cancellations. The 21st century has witnessed a revival of interest in flying aircraft carriers, driven by the advent of unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs. UAVs offer enhanced flexibility, endurance, and stealth compared to manned aircraft, prompting countries like the US, China, India, and the UK to explore the development of aircraft carriers capable of operating UAVs at sea or in the air. Technological, operational, and strategic challenges abound for flying aircraft carriers. Advanced technologies are imperative for communication, control, launch, and recovery of UAVs, as well as for carrier propulsion, stealth, and survivability. Operationally, coordination with assets across air, sea, land, and space domains, and mitigation of threats like anti-ship missiles and cyber attacks are critical. Strategically, trade-offs between costs, capability, and risk must be carefully considered, along with the implications for global stability and security. Flying aircraft carriers present noteworthy opportunities, offering novel avenues for power projection, surveillance, humanitarian aid delivery, and exploration of remote regions. They have the potential to extend the range, persistence, and versatility of UAVs, facilitating swift and adaptable deployment of air assets. Flying aircraft carriers could very well reduce dependence on vulnerable and expensive ground or sea bases, enhancing the survivability and responsiveness of air forces. While the concept is promising, it necessitates a comprehensive claim of technical, operational, and strategic challenges through meticulous analysis, experimentation, and cooperation among stakeholders. A clear vision of goals and objectives will be indispensable for the development and deployment of flying aircraft carriers in the future of aviation and warfare. Number 5. The Maverick. Unveiled at the 2020 Singapore Air Show, the Airbus Maverick stands as a revolutionary aircraft with a blended wing body design, departing from the traditional tube and wing structure. As part of the Airbus Up Next research program, this small-scale remote-controlled demonstrator aims to delve into innovative technologies and concepts shaping the future of aviation. The distinctive blended wing body design holds a key advantage: potential fuel consumption reduction of up to 20% compared to conventional aircraft. This efficiency is achieved by minimizing drag and maximizing lift, enhancing overall aerodynamics. The design also provides flexibility in engine placement and integration, further optimizing performance and environmental impact. Additionally, the spacious and adaptable cabin layout enhances passenger comfort, setting a new standard for air travel experiences. Having completed its inaugural flight in June 2019 at a discrete French location, the Maverick has since undergone a series of rigorous tests to validate its feasibility and potential. With a 2-meter length and a wingspan of 3.2 meters and a wing area of approximately 2.25 square meters, the aircraft features 2 engines mounted on the rear stabilizers, each accompanied by a vertical fin, resulting in a distinctive twin-tail arrangement. While the Maverick is not intended as a prototype for a full-scale commercial aircraft, it serves as a demonstrator for a novel aircraft configuration. Airbus envisions the Maverick inspiring the next generation of single-aisle aircraft, prioritizing superior environmental performance and passenger comfort. This pioneering aircraft exemplifies Airbus's commitment to pushing the boundaries of innovation and exploring new frontiers in the future of flight. Number 4. The Hero Zero. Conceived by New York-based designer Joe Doucette, the Hero Zero emissions airplane represents a groundbreaking concept inspired by the environmental impact of short-haul flights. Departing from conventional aircraft designs, the Hero is an electric plane utilizing propellers instead of jet engines, effectively eliminating emissions and noise pollution. Doucet's vision is to make air travel not only more sustainable but also aesthetically appealing. The Hero boasts a distinctive T shape with wings positioned toward the back of the aircraft, featuring upturned winglets for lift. Propellers placed at the rear provide thrust, challenging the traditional tube and wing configuration prevalent in current aircraft. This unique design allows for enhanced flexibility in battery placement and integration, crucial components powering the electric motors. Recognizing the weight and capacity limitations of electric aviation batteries, the Hero is tailored for short-haul flights, a significant contributor to aviation emissions. While approximately 20% slower than its jet fuel counterparts, the Hero addresses the specific needs of shorter distances. Passengers would enjoy a quieter and more comfortable ride, complemented by a spacious and adaptable cabin layout. The Hero serves as a demonstrator, not a prototype for full-scale commercial use, showcasing a potential new aircraft configuration. Doucet envisions the Hero inspiring the next generation of electric aircraft, prioritizing environmental sustainability and passenger comfort. This innovative concept exemplifies the intersection of design and technology, pushing the boundaries of possibilities for the future of flight. Number 3. The Boeing 777X. The Boeing 777X, the latest iteration of the Boeing 777 family from Boeing commercial airplanes, stands as a pinnacle of aerospace engineering. The wide-body jet airliner introduces groundbreaking features, including new GE9X engines, innovative composite wings with folding wingtips, increased cabin width, and expanded seating capacity, drawing inspiration from the acclaimed Boeing 787. Foremost among the 777X's innovations are its distinctive folding wingtips, optimizing flight efficiency and facilitating airport operations. With a wingspan of 235 feet 5 inches when extended and 212 feet 9 inches when folded, this unique mechanism is activated by pilots post-landing, taking a mere 20 seconds to complete. This design enables the 777X to utilize the same airport gates as its predecessors while offering a remarkable 10% larger wing area and a 12% reduction in fuel consumption. The 777X showcases the colossal GE9X engines, hailed as the largest and most powerful jet engines ever constructed. Boasting a fan diameter of 134 inches, a bypass ratio of 10:1, and a thrust of 105,000 pounds force, these engines prioritize reduced noise, heightened reliability, and enhanced efficiency. Leveraging advanced materials like carbon fiber fan blades, ceramic matrix composites, carbon fiber fan blades, ceramic matrix composites, and additive manufacturing, the GE9X engines mark a significant leap in propulsion technology. The advanced aircraft further distinguishes itself with a widened cabin and increased seating capacity, featuring a cabin width of 19 feet 7 inches, surpassing its predecessor by 16 inches. The 777X accommodates up to 426 passengers in a two-class configuration or a maximum of 495 passengers in a high-density layout. The cabin prioritizes passenger comfort with customizable architecture, larger windows, improved lighting, and superior air quality. Additionally, the 777X incorporates technologies from the 787 Dreamliner, including a lower cabin altitude, increased humidity, and a smoother in-flight experience. Positioned at the forefront of aviation, the 777X amalgamates the finest elements from the 777 and 787 programs. Anticipated for service entry in 2025, despite delays attributed to technical challenge and the global COVID-19 pandemic, the 777X has garnered 363 orders from esteemed customers, including Emirates, Lufthansa, Qatar Airways, and Singapore Airlines. Boeing's commitment to pushing the boundaries of innovation and charting new frontiers in aviation is exemplified by the groundbreaking 777X. Number 2. The Blended Wing Flying V. The innovative Blended Wing Flying V concept represents a paradigm shift in aircraft design, seamlessly merging fuselage and wings into a singular aerodynamic form. This revolutionary approach holds the promise of reducing fuel consumption by 20% while accommodating up to 314 passengers, offering a more spacious and environmentally conscious flying experience. Currently in the early phases of development and testing, the Blended Wing Flying V aims to redefine the future of air travel. As a type of blended wing body or BWB aircraft, the design deviates from the traditional separation of wings and body found in conventional planes, This unique structure minimizes drag, translating to lower fuel requirements for flight. The configuration also affords greater flexibility in engine placement, enhancing overall performance and environmental impact. Additionally, the blended wing design results in an expansive and adaptable cabin layout, prioritizing passenger comfort. Originating from the creative mind of a technical University of Berlin student Justus Benad, the Flying V concept emerged during his thesis project at Airbus. Initially tested in 2014 at a scale model, Airbus patented the design, which later caught the attention of Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands, with collaboration from Dutch airline KLM and Airbus. Dubbed the Flying V due to its arrowhead appearance with wings extending in a V shape behind the cockpit, this unique aircraft envisions transporting passengers and cargo within its wings. The designers anticipate cost-effectiveness in constructing the Flying V, as the V-shaped arms can be efficiently integrated into the fuselage in sections. This modular construction approach offers potential savings compared to traditional build methods. The Flying V's compatibility with existing airport infrastructure, boasting a wingspan and length similar to the Airbus A350, adds to its appeal. In July 2020, the Flying V had its inaugural flight, featuring a battery-powered drone with a 9-foot wingspan. The successful test flight marked a significant milestone, prompting researchers to plan further tests and experiments to validate the design's feasibility and potential. The aspiration is that the Flying V will serve as a catalyst, inspiring the development of the next generation of aircraft focused on enhanced environmental performance and passenger comfort. This project exemplifies how innovative design can push the boundaries of conventional aviation, exploring new possibilities for the future of flight. And at number 1, Boom Supersonic. Boom Supersonic, a pioneering company in the aviation industry, envisions transforming air travel with its revolutionary supersonic passenger jet, the Overture. Designed to soar at Mach 2.2, more than twice the speed of sound, the Overture is poised to ferry up to 88 passengers across the Atlantic or Pacific in half the time of conventional aircraft. What sets this aircraft apart is its commitment to sustainability, offering a carbon-neutral fuel option and minimizing sonic boom disturbance over land, making it a standout in the realm of supersonic aviation. Anticipated to commence service in 2029, the Overture has already secured United Airlines and Japan Airlines as its inaugural customers. The genesis of the Overture lies in the XB-1, a 1/3 scale demonstrator introduced by Boom Supersonic in 2020. Propelled by 3 General Electric J85 engines, the XB-1 adopts a delta wing configuration reminiscent of the iconic Concorde, the only supersonic airliner commercially operational until 2003. Tasked with scrutinizing the aerodynamics, propulsion, and materials vital for the Overture, the XB-1 aims to affirm the feasibility and safety of supersonic flight. Its inaugural flight is scheduled for mid-2023, overcoming delays attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic and technical intricacies. While Boom Supersonic faces competition in the supersonic travel arena from entities like Ariane and Spike Aerospace, it asserts a competitive edge. Prioritizing passenger experience, affordability, and sustainability, Boom Supersonic envisions the Overture not only resurrecting the allure and thrill of supersonic travel, but also rendering it accessible and responsible in the contemporary world. As the race for supersonic supremacy unfolds, Boom Supersonic stands poised to redefine the future of air travel.
6. The Byford Dolphin Accident. The Byford Dolphin was a semi-submersible oil rig in the North Sea off the coast of Norway. It was the site of one of the most gruesome accidents in the history of commercial diving, which claimed the lives of 5 people in 1983. The accident took place on November 5, 1983, during a routine diving operation to inspect a pipeline. The diving team consisted of 4 saturation divers and 2 dive tenders, who helped the divers with the diving bell. Saturation diving is a technique that lets divers work at great depths for long periods of time by living in a pressurized chamber matching the pressure of the water. The divers breathe a mixture of both helium and oxygen, which prevents decompression sickness or the bends, a potentially fatal illness caused by the formation of nitrogen bubbles in a person's blood. The diving operation was meant to be simple and safe, but a series of human errors and equipment failures made it a nightmare. The diving bell, which was connected to the chamber by a small trunk, was being lifted to the surface after the divers finished their shift. But thanks to a miscommunication, the chamber was not properly sealed before the bell was fully detached. This caused a sudden and explosive drop in pressure inside the chamber. The result was a horrific scene full of carnage and gore. The 4 divers inside the chamber were instantly killed by violent decompression, which ripped apart their bodies. One of the dive tenders, who was standing near the trunk, was also killed by the resulting blast, which propelled him 10 meters across the rig. The other dive tender, who was inside the bell, managed to survive without serious injuries. The accident was not discovered until a few hours later, when the diving supervisor tried to contact the chamber. He was met with only silence and a foul smell. When he opened up the chamber door, he was shocked by the sight of blood and body parts. The bodies of the divers were so disfigured that they could only be identified by dental records. The investigation into the accident revealed that the main cause was the failure of a device called a clamp, which was supposed to lock the trunk securely to the chamber. The clamp had been modified by the rig's crew, who removed a few bolts and washers to make it easier to operate. This weakened the clamp and made it prone to slipping. The investigation found that the diving company Comex had violated multiple safety regulations and procedures, like not having a backup clamp, not testing the equipment before using, and not having a qualified supervisor on board during the operation. The accident had a profound impact on the commercial diving industry, which implemented stricter safety measures and standards to stop similar tragedies from ever happening again. Families of the victims sued Comex and the rig's owner Dolphin Drilling for negligence and wrongful deaths. They received a settlement of $2.5 million in 1989 after a bitter legal battle. 5. The Titanic's haunting secrets. The Titanic, the ship once called unsinkable, met its tragic fate on April 15, 1912, when it hit an iceberg and sank into the North Atlantic. Over a century later, the remains of the ship and its passengers still lie at the bottom of the ocean, holding some of the most eerie secrets of the disaster. The Titanic wreck was not discovered until 1985, when a team of explorers led by Robert Ballard located the ship's wreck at a depth of 12,500 feet. Since then, countless expeditions have been conducted to explore, document, and recover the Titanic's many artifacts, which range from personal belongings to parts of the ship itself. Some of the most haunting artifacts discovered in the wreckage are the shoes of the victims, which are scattered all over the ocean's floor. According to Ballard, the shoes are the only traces left of the victims' bodies, which were quickly devoured by sea creatures and dissolved by acidic ocean water. The shoes, preserved by the tannin acid in the leather, are often seen in pairs, indicating the positions and relationships of the people who died together. One of the most heartbreaking images is that of a mother and daughter, whose shoes are side by side in the debris field. Another creepy artifact found in the Titanic's wreckage is a violin played by Wallace Hartley, the band leader who continued playing music with his orchestra as the ship sank. The violin, which was adorned with an engraved silver plate that connected it to Hartley, was discovered in a leather case in 2006 in the attic of a home in Britain. It was later authenticated and sold for $1.7 million in 2013, the highest amount ever paid for an artifact from the Titanic. The violin is said to have played the hymn "Nearer, My God, to Thee" as the final song before the ship sank. Other unsettling artifacts include perfume oils, jewelry, letters, keys, musical instruments, and even a menu detailing the ship's last meal. These items provide a peek into the lives and experiences of the passengers and crew who were on board the ship, as well as the opulence of the Titanic itself. They also serve as grim reminders of the tragedy that occurred on that fateful night. The Titanic's wreck is also a source of ghostly sightings and mysterious phenomena. According to several reports, ships passing by the site have seen orbs or little balls of light energy signifying a supernatural presence. Some submarines have also picked up strange SOS messages and interference without an identifiable source. Many believe that these are the signs from the spirits of the Titanic's victims, who are still haunting the depths of the ocean. 4. Old Whitey. Old Whitey is the name given to a well-preserved corpse sitting in the engine room of the SS Kamloops, a ship that sank in Lake Superior during 1927. The Kamloops was a cargo ship caught in a violent winter storm. It disappeared with 22 crew members still on board. Some of the survivors managed to reach Isle Royale, but died there thanks to exposure or wolf attacks. The shipwreck was not discovered until 1977, 50 years later, when divers found it in near-perfect condition thanks to the cold and clear water. But the divers also saw something that chilled them to the bone. The body of a crew member that they nicknamed Old Whitey or Grandpa. The remains had been preserved by the freezing temperatures and the formation of adiposa, a waxy substance known to slow down decomposition. Old Whitey's skin was white as snow, and his eyes were still open, staring hauntingly at the intruders. Some divers even reported that Old Whitey would move around the ship, following them or touching them as if he were still alive or possessed. Others claimed that they saw his spirit wandering the wreck separate from his body. Old Whitey is considered one of the most haunted and disturbing sights in the Great Lakes, and many divers avoid the Kamloops or refuse to go inside the engine room where he sits. Some believe he's restless since he never received a proper burial, or because he's lonely after spending decades in the cold depths of the lake. Others say that he's just a natural phenomenon, a result of the unique conditions that preserved his body. Whatever the case may be, Old Whitey remains a mystery and a legend, a reminder of the tragic fate of the SS Kamloops and its poor crew. If you were a diver, would you ever have the guts to visit Old Whitey? Let us know in the comments below. If you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to see more. 3. Titan's remains. Stockton Rush dreamed of exploring the depths of the ocean. He was the founder and CEO of OceanGate, a company that offered public, deep-sea expeditions, including trips to the legendary wreck of the Titanic. He was also the pilot of the Titan, a state-of-the-art submersible that he helped design. On June 18, 2023, Rush and 4 other people boarded the Titan for a routine dive down to the Titanic, which lies 12,500 feet below the surface of the North Atlantic. Unfortunately, they never returned. 3 days later, after an extensive search conducted by the US Coast Guard and other agencies, the Titan was located in pieces, lying at the bottom of the ocean, near the remains of the Titanic. It suffered a catastrophic implosion, likely due to a breach in the hull or a failure of the pressure-resistant glass dome. All 5 people on board were presumed dead. The news of the accident shocked the world, especially the ocean exploration community. Rush was regarded as a visionary and a pioneer who had a passion for both innovation and adventure. He'd also been a controversial figure who'd faced criticism for disregarding safety regulations and industry standards in the past. He once said, "At some point, safety is just a pure waste. I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed, don't get in your car, don't do anything." Rush's death has raised several questions about the risks and rewards of deep-sea exploration and the role of private companies in advancing scientific knowledge and public awareness. Some have praised Rush for his ambition, while others have blamed him for his recklessness. His legacy remains a matter of debate, but his final voyage will be remembered as one of the most terrifying events in the history of ocean exploration. The body of Stockton Rush has still not been officially identified or confirmed. But some presumed human remains have been recovered from the debris of the Titan submersible and are currently undergoing DNA analysis. 2. The graveyard of the Imperial Fleet. Operation Hailstone was a surprise attack on Japan's Imperial Fleet during World War II, conducted by the United States Navy on February 16 to 17, 1944. The attack targeted Japan's naval base at Truk Lagoon or Chuuk Lagoon in the Caroline Islands in the South Pacific. Truk Lagoon was the main base of operations for the Japanese combined fleet, and it was home to a large number of warships, aircraft, and submarines. The attack was intended to cripple the Japanese fleet and stop it from interfering with the American invasion of the Marshall Islands and other objectives. The attack was launched by a task force of 12 aircraft carriers, supported by multiple battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and submarines. The task force was headed by Admiral Raymond Spruance, who led the victory at the Battle of Midway back in 1942. The attack involved over 500 aircraft as well, including fighters, bombers, and torpedo planes. It was divided up into 4 waves, each lasting about an hour. The first wave started at 5 a.m. on February 16th, and the last wave ended at 5 p.m. on February 17th. The operation was successful, a devastating blow to the Japanese, who were caught off guard. The Americans sank or damaged 12 warships, including 4 light cruisers, 2 destroyers, and 6 auxiliary ships. They also destroyed 275 aircraft. The Americans lost only 25 aircraft and 40 crew members. Meanwhile, the Japanese lost over 4,500 sailors and airmen, with many more wounded or captured. The sunken ships and planes quickly became a graveyard for the Imperial fleet and a treasure trove for both divers and historians. The wrecks are still submerged in the lagoon to this day, some of them intact and some of them broken in pieces. They're covered with coral and marine life, and they hold artifacts and relics from the war. Some of the wrecks are even accessible to recreational divers, while others are too deep or too dangerous for the inexperienced. The site is also a memorial and a reminder of the human cost of war. 1. The Lost Bomber and the Lone Gunner. The ocean is a mysterious place full of secrets and surprises. One of the most touching discoveries made by divers in the ocean was the remains of a US airman who passed away in a plane crash during World War II. The airman was later identified as James C. Ford, a 21-year-old from Texas. He was a gunner on the B-24 Liberator bomber named Lady Be Good. The bomber was part of the 376th Bomb Group, or the Libanados, which operated from Libya during the war. The bomber was sent on a mission to attack Naples, Italy on April 4, 1943, when it was suddenly hit by enemy fire and lost contact with the rest of its group. The plane was never returned to its base and was presumed lost at sea. But in 2020, a group of archaeological divers from the University of Malta and the Superintendents of Cultural Heritage located the wreckage of the bomber in the Mediterranean Sea, north of Malta. The divers recovered Ford's dog tags, uniform and personal items like a wallet, a watch, and a ring. They also found parts of the plane, such as the engines, the propellers, and the tail. The team was amazed by the condition of the artifacts, which were all well preserved by the cold and dark water. The discovery of the bombers and Ford's remains were a significant historical and emotional event. It solved a 77-year-old mystery and gave closure to Ford's family and friends. Ford's nephew, Robert Ford, said that he was grateful to the divers for finding his uncle and honoring his sacrifice. He said that his uncle was a hero who gave his life for his country and his crew. He also said that he hoped to visit Malta someday and see the artifacts in person. The story of Ford and his bomber is a remarkable example of how the ocean can hide the history of those who fought in the war. The story also shows how the ocean connects people across time and space and brings them together in a shared appreciation of the past. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified of new videos. Leave a comment and tell us what you think. What are some other scary things you've heard of in the ocean? What do you want us to talk about next? Let us know. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.